The Tennessee Titans may have lost to the Seattle Seahawks, but it was a perfect loss, and I had a great time watching it. I'll break it down on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. The Tennessee Titans may have lost to the Seattle Seahawks, but it was an absolute perfect loss. Cam Ward looked fantastic. Chim Dike, Xavier Restrepo, so many great things to break down from that game. Again, I had an absolute fantastic time watching my favorite football team on a Sunday, and that has been far too often this season, and we are going to be excited about it. On today's show, before we dive in, I do want to thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day here on the Locked On Titans podcast. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there tuning in Monday through Friday. If you aren't an everydayer, you need to be one. The Tennessee Titans are going to continue to try to be competitive down the stretch. We got a coaching search right around the corner. Make sure that you stay locked in with the Locked On Titans podcast. But with all that being said, again, the Tennessee Titans may have lost this game 30-24, but it was an absolute perfect loss for them. We got every single component of what we want to see from the Tennessee Titans in this game, and not only did we see that, but we did get a result that we all expected anyway. Nobody expected the Tennessee Titans to beat this Seattle Seahawks team, one of the absolute best teams in the NFL, top 10 at minimum, top 5 if you're being nice. This is a great Seahawks football team, and they had stretches during that game where they looked fantastic, but the Tennessee Titans remained competitive the entire time, despite being down by 20 during this game. The Tennessee Titans fought back. They kept fighting. They kept pushing. They kept this thing competitive to the final stretch, to the point where they only lost by 1 score when they were 13.5-point underdogs. They put 24 points up on the board. They had multiple offensive touchdowns. Like, this was an absolute blast of a football game to watch. I did not expect the Tennessee Titans to win. Considering the circumstances, think about how different these teams are in terms of talent. Think about how different these teams are in terms of coaching. The Titans had no business being as competitive as they were in this game. And yes, it's one of these backdoor competitive situations where the Tennessee Titans score a touchdown late to make it look closer than it actually was. But again, that's exactly what we want from this Titans team. The Tennessee Titans need to get the #1 overall pick. Beating a team like the Seattle Seahawks is an easy way to not get the #1 overall pick. You want to beat the Browns? You want to beat the Saints at the end of the season? By all means, I think the Titans could still get the #1 pick and do those things. But beating the Seattle Seahawks, the Titans can't afford to do that. And the fact that they did not win, but they played competitive football. We got offensive points. We got exciting football. That was a fun football game to watch. That was a fun football game. They still lose. They remain competitive. It's a perfect loss. And then we get into all the little individual things that made this game so great. Maybe my favorite game of the year. Because, you could say the Cardinals game was your favorite game of the year because they came back and they won. It was the only win that they have. But that game was terrible until the fourth quarter, and Cam Ward throws a pick that's fumbled into the end zone for a touchdown like it was a bunch of kerfluffle. No, this game was my favorite game of the season. This was my favorite game of the season. Cam Ward was out there, folks. Cam Ward was out there dicing them up. One of the best defenses in the NFL. One of the best defenses in the entire NFL for a second straight week. The Titans have the hardest schedule in the entire NFL this year. It's insane, but that's the truth. The hardest schedule in the NFL, and they're going to play. Right now, if you look at the top 5 scoring defenses in the NFL, the Tennessee Titans are going to play every single top 5 defense in the NFL this season, with the circumstances that we know that we'll discuss here in a minute. But for Cam Ward to go out there and throw 28 for 42, 256 yards, 2 total touchdowns where he runs for a touchdown, dives into the end zone and gets the ball across the goal line, where at the end he executes the same play that he executed last week in a goal line, or short yardage goal line situation where they run the pick play with the wide receiver. The Titans ran that play 4 times in a row in Detroit last season and didn't get it, and they've got it back-to-back weeks this year. Just now. Cam Ward led the Titans in rushing yards with 37. Cam Ward had over 280 total yards, 2 total touchdowns, no turnovers, got sacked 4 times. This is, and I know this is crazy to think, and I'm going to talk more about this on tomorrow's episode. I'm going to get into the tape and everything, and I can't wait. So make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed, year-round free Tennessee Titans content. I've been a fan for over 25 years. I've covered the team for Sports Illustrated, USA Today, hosted this podcast for 7 seasons. Stay locked in with me here, folks. Locked on Titans, but this was Cam Ward's breakout game. This is the breakout game that we have been waiting for, and no, it didn't result in a win for the Tennessee Titans. But when the team is as bad as it is right now, when the Titans are as poorly coached as they are, when the roster is as bad as it is, this is Cam Ward's breakout. This is what it looks like. Again, in my short video, I talked about this looked like Cam Ward starting to stop the bullets in the Matrix. Like it is slowing down for Cam Ward, and I talked about it last week. I broke down the tape on the Tic Tac Titans film channel. Make sure that you check that out if you haven't already. But I broke down the tape of what we saw in that Houston Texans game against the best defense in the NFL by almost any metric that you want to look at. Cam Ward absolutely played great football in that game. There were, I would say, 6 or 7 bad plays, if I'm honest with you. 6 or 7 bad plays. But in this game, there were even less. I mean, this was a breakout performance for Cam Ward. The circumstances, you got a backup left tackle in for the second half. You know that the Seahawks are going to pin their ears back and come after you. The Titans have 9 penalties on the day, just killing themselves, most of it on the offense and special teams. The Seahawks are great. The coaching mismatch, down by 20 in the second half. All of the different things that happened, and Cam Ward still had his best game of the season. 280 total yards and 2 total touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles, got sacked 4 times. I mean, Cam Ward's performance, the team's competitiveness, considering the circumstances, how could this not be, your favorite game of the season? This is by far my favorite game of the season. I know they won against Arizona. I get it. But that game was terrible for 3 quarters. This was a competitive football game where the Titans actually look like they're building forward. And then you add in Chim Dike, returns a punt, Xavier Restrepo, Gunnar Helm, Kevin Winston, and Marcus Harris on the defensive end. Like, you add in all of the Tennessee Titans young players that are building blocks for them, having good games. And again, a perfect loss for the Tennessee Titans. You want the Titans to get the number 1 pick. You want them to get a top 3 pick at minimum to give them trade down opportunities to get extra picks, build this roster around Cam Ward, and to get closer to having better draft picks to build around Cam Ward while simultaneously having Cam Ward prove that he is somebody worth building around and having some building blocks who can come along with Cam Ward emerge against one of the best defenses in the NFL, one of the best teams in the NFL, and one of the most competitive games they played all season. Perfect loss. I had a great time watching my favorite football team this weekend, and with the season going by faster than ever, by God, I'm going to appreciate it. We're going to talk more Cam Ward, more Chim Dike. Xavier Restrepo should have been on the field the entire time. We tried to tell you, and here we go. Tighten up, ladies and gentlemen, coming your way. Do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The holiday season is one of the best times for sports. You got bowl games, you got big basketball matchups, you got playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while we're all making choices every day, one of the most fun places that you can make those choices and make the right call is at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the easiest way to get in on daily fantasy. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, lock in your lineup, and you're in the game. It's simple, it's fast, and it's available in 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. PrizePicks has so many cool features. They have a stacks feature where you can actually pick multiple of the same player's stats in the same lineup. Like you could go with, Patrick Mahomes, passing yards, touchdowns, and rushing yards, all more. Also, the injury reboot feature where, if you get an injury, it can save your lineup from a loss. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. It's PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Titans fans, let's continue today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast, reacting to what was my favorite Tennessee Titans game of the season. They were competitive in this game against a really good football team. They still took the loss to help out the draft pick, but Cam Ward was absolutely fantastic. And again, some of his running mates and the young players on the Titans proving that they are real building blocks for the future. And quite frankly, I said it before the game, but my level of optimism was as high as it's been all season. Like, I was genuinely excited to watch the Tennessee Titans today. I just had a feeling that they were going to play a good competitive football game. They were going to show us something, and that's exactly what they did. Again, a perfect loss for the Titans. But now we got to play a little tighten up, tighten down. And once again, thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen each and every day. And number one tighten up is obviously Cam Ward. I said it before the break there, 28 for 42, 256 yards. Had the touchdown pass at the end to Chim Dike on the quick goal line exchange concept, had 37 rushing yards on 6 carries, ran for a touchdown in a big spot, and on that touchdown run in the red zone, that was not a designed run. That was a shovel pass to Chikakonkwo. The defense ate it up completely, and Cam Ward made a play after. Cam Ward, throughout the game, I admit, I'm a pessimist. If you listen to the show, if you're an everydayer, I got a little bit of negative Nancy. I got a little Debbie Downer to me. I am a natural pessimist. I'm not going to fight you on it. I'm not going to lie. All right, that's the truth. A lot of times during this game, I thought, it's 1st and 15 after a penalty. It's 1st and 25. It says, they're not getting anything here. Nothing's going to happen. This drive's dead. Titans came, and Cam Ward found a way to make a play, rolling out of the pocket, stepping up in the pocket, taking a hit and throwing on the run, taking a hit, falling down to the ground and getting the ball out, scrambling to the right, throwing back into the middle of the field to Xavier Restrepo, throwing that pass into the middle of the field that James Prochet was able to get. I mean, he was under fire by one of the best pass rushes in the entire NFL all game long. This team does not blitz because they get so much pressure with their front four. Like, it was, they're a great defense. And to see Cam Ward make all those plays and get the Titans out of bad spots and keep drives moving forward. And I mean, he was absolutely spectacular today. So the Titans lost. He didn't throw for 8 touchdowns. But I don't even think, all season long we have said Cam Ward played better than the box score. The box score doesn't tell the story. And the box score still doesn't tell the story for Cam Ward in this one, even though the box score is actually great. Again, 28 for 42, 256, 37 rushing yards added, 2 total touchdowns, no turnovers. I mean, the box score was actually incredible. And Cam Ward somehow still found a way to play better than the box score, and I think that's going to be something that happens with Cam Ward his entire career. He is just constantly going to be somebody who plays better, has moments on the field that are just better than you can encapsulate in a box score. He is a pure gunslinger, a gamer, a competitor, man. In big moments when he had opportunities in back-to-back weeks, you're down 7, you got to score against Houston. You're down 13, you got to score to keep the game going to give you an onside kick chance. Cam Ward threw the ball and delivered. And to see him use the legs, I continue to say his use of his legs and him looking more comfortable running around, that's the game slowing down. That's Neo putting his hand out and stopping the bullets, starting to see the digital code fall from the screen. Cam Ward is starting to see it. He's starting to really see it. And then we got to keep going, man. Chim Dike. Tighten up and throw your tighten ups and tighten downs in the comments if you're watching live, or hit me up on Twitter at Tic Tac Titans, on Facebook at Locked On Titans, at Instagram at Locked On Titans, at TikTok at Locked On Titans. You can find me anywhere. Always pumping out content. Y'all know me. But Chim Dike, 5 catches, 44 yards, gets the touchdown at the end. A 90-yard punt return touchdown. His second punt return touchdown of the season, should be his third. 90 yards, ties a record with Pac-Man Jones. Chim Dike is one of only 7 players now to have 2 punt return touchdowns as a rookie, and that list includes guys like Devin Hester, for example. Chim Dike is the NFL's all-pro kick returner. Chim Dike is the all-pro returner in the NFL. He is the best returner in the NFL. And you guys know how yin-yang symbols, you got the white swirl with the black dot. You got the black swirl with the white dot. The symbolism of the yin-yang is within all good, there is still a little bad. And within all the bad, there is always a little good. Chim Dike has been the little bit of good in the sea of bad in our Tennessee Titans yin-yang this season. Just absolutely fantastic, and see him continue to blossom as a wide receiver. He did have a drop in this one early on in the game where I thought he could have brought it down. But Dike, 5 catches, 44 yards, 90-yard punt return touchdown. He's going to be an all-pro. He's going to be an all-pro for the Tennessee Titans. Like, do not take that for granted, folks, how great of a season Chim Dike is having, leading the NFL in all-purpose yards. This is an absolute weapon. Dike is a weapon, and when you look at Chim Dike, he was the least exciting 4th-round pick of them all, and he has been the most impactful 4th-round pick of them all. And speaking of impactful 4th-round picks, nightmare on Helm Street, Gunnar Helm. And Gunnar Helm had a drop on it would have been a tough catch on a ball on 3rd and short on a lob from Cam Ward down the sideline. It would have been a tough catch, but we've come accustomed to seeing him make tough catches. But 6 catches, 51 yards in this game, made some great catches that were tough catches to make as well. This is why I'm so excited. Think about what we're saying. Cam Ward, a breakout game against one of the best teams in the NFL. Chim Dike, one of the best returner in the NFL and an explosive element to the Titans offense. As a utility receiver, Gunnar Helm is a tight end 1. He is a starting tight end that can build with Cam Ward for years to come. And then we finally get to it. Xavier Restrepo. You're right. I'm looking at you. I'm talking to you. You were right. Not the coaches, not the worst coaching staff in the NFL, especially on offense. I don't think Denard Wilson and Bones Fossil are anywhere near the worst coordinators in the NFL. So I hate saying the Titans coaching staff when I really mostly mean the offensive coaching staff and everyone involved with the offense and the decision-making and everything like that. But you were right. I was right. We were right. Xavier Restrepo should have been on the field a long time ago. And like I said this week on the Squad Show, check out the Titans Squad Show with me, Julian Missinone, and Brad Hopkins, the legend, every Tuesday morning live on YouTube, and they have a live show later tonight too. Check that out. But I said, I don't care about special teams. I don't care if Xavier Restrepo can run down 40 yards and tackle on kick coverage. I don't care if Xavier Restrepo could be a gunner on punt return or what on punt coverage team. Like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. You know what I do care about? Catching the football, getting first downs, having chemistry with Cam Ward, getting open. And Xavier Restrepo comes on the field, 2 catches, 26 yards. Great catch on the goal line on an in-breaking concept. Honestly, I think he could have had a couple more catches. I'm going to go through every target on the Tic Tac Titans channel this week and break it down like that. The first one in the end zone, he maybe could have made a play on that football if he was a better player. You know what I mean? But that's not the point. And again, the conversation around Xavier Restrepo, where all of the fan base is clamoring for him, and then you have people in the local media who are like, oh, the savior, Xavier Restrepo, and oh, I guess, finally get to see. It's like they're rooting on the guy to fail. No one is saying that Xavier Restrepo is the savior. No one is saying that Xavier Restrepo is going to play, and all of a sudden the Titans are going to be a good football team and win games. All we're saying is he's a guy who had chemistry with Cam Ward in college. He could be one of those examples of he may not be the best practice player, but he makes plays in the game. How many examples in NFL history do you have to see of guys exactly like Xavier Restrepo, who aren't the biggest, who aren't the fastest, who don't have the best pedigree, who turn out to be serviceable players in the NFL? I don't need Xavier Restrepo to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just want him to be a solid player who can catch the football and move the chains and make my quarterback feel comfortable. That's all I'm asking for. So the fact that people in the local media have been like scolding fans for wanting to see Restrepo and being so snarky about it, like it's so annoying, and he did exactly what we've been asking for. You were right. We were right. He should have gotten opportunities earlier in the season. There's no way that Xavier Restrepo, what we saw from him out there today, that guy couldn't have helped move the chains and caught some passes and things like that this year. Like, it's inconceivable. This is one of those moments where, this is why I always say, just because you're not a butcher doesn't mean that you don't know what a good cut of steak looks like. Just because you're not a chef doesn't mean that you don't know your steak is overcooked. I'm not a mechanic, but boy, I do know when my brakes are out. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a subject matter expert to see something simple. And it was simple all along that Xavier Restrepo should have got opportunities. I didn't have to be an NFL head coach or an NFL talent evaluator or a coordinator or, a scout. Like, I didn't have to be that to see, oh, the Titans are a terrible football team. They should probably give that guy an opportunity. So feel emboldened. Feel like you were right. Feel like, hey, you know what? The coaches aren't always right about this. And it's crazy to me that anybody would be so confident that the Titans offensive coaches of anybody would have got this right. If there's any offensive coaching staff in the NFL who probably is wrong about something that they're doing, it's probably the Titans. So the fact that anybody would be like, yeah, the Titans coaching staff knows what they're doing, Xavier Restrepo shouldn't get an opportunity. The fact that anybody would act like that, imply that, try to be that way, make Titans fans feel that way, again, it's absolute nonsense. But again, that's why you guys come to me, so I can spit it straight from the fans' perspective while still keeping you as informed as you possibly could be. But with that being said, we got to talk about some of these guys on the defensive side of the ball. Kevin Winston. Now look, he got beat in one-on-one coverage against Jackson Smith and Jigba and gave up a big play. That absolutely happened. Kevin Winston in his second NFL start got beat by a top 5 wide receiver in a situation where he never should have been in one-on-one coverage with Jackson Smith and Jigba in the first place. So besides that, he had a tackle for loss. He had a big physical collision that caused a pass breakup. He had 10 tackles on the day. Kevin Winston was all over the field. So we could say Kevin Winston had a bad play, and he certainly did. But does that mean that he didn't have a good day? Does that mean that I'm not over the moon about Kevin Winston going forward? Absolutely not. He led the team with tackles. He got in the backfield. He made physical plays. He did different things in coverage. He did it from different alignments. Kevin Winston is the best safety on the team. He's the best safety on the Titans right now. And Marcus Harris. Marcus Harris played even better this week. Titans rookie slot cornerback out of Cal. He played at Idaho before that. He's a smaller guy at 5'10", but man, he's got long arms for a guy his size. He's feisty. He's 4.3 speed in the slot. Marcus Harris has been impressive early on. And when you talk about things that have you excited about the future going forward, Cam Ward played fantastic. Chim Dike, Gunnar Helm, Xavier Restrepo, Kevin Winston, Marcus Harris. Like, these are things that the Tennessee Titans can truly build around. Again, I had a great time watching this game. It was a perfect loss for the Tennessee Titans, but now we do got to keep it honest here. There are some parts of this team that absolutely have me concerned going forward that did not play well. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. The NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between the queues, the login screens, prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating, but that's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Gametime is fast, it's easy, it's backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price that you see is the price that you pay. I pulled up Gametime, and in just a couple of taps, I saw amazing deals, and I'm talking about your favorite NFL games for as low as $100. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Titans fans, let's continue and cap off today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast, breaking down the Tennessee Titans 30-24 loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Again, I am very encouraged by this performance. This is my favorite game of the season. Cam Ward was fantastic. Some of the young building blocks were absolutely fantastic. It's a perfect game. It was a perfect game for where the Tennessee Titans are at right now. I did my Titan ups. Now it's time to talk about my Titan downs, because the reality is there were some performances in here that were a little concerning to me. Number one, J.C. Latham. Latham has just not been a top 10 pick. You look at the way Troy Fautanu has played. You look at the way Olu Fashanu has played for the Jets. It does make you very concerning that the Tennessee Titans missed. I think that it's far too early to have a conversation about J.C. Latham bumping into guard, but I think if Latham continues to struggle the way that he struggled for most of the season throughout the next 7 games, if Latham is this bad the rest 7 games of the season, then you could have a conversation about maybe putting him at right guard, and maybe the Titans need to go out and look at offensive tackle again. Too early to do that, but if you're somebody who is already on that train, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you're insane right now. It's insane to say it this early, but it's something to keep an eye on for certain. T'Vondre Sweat was not good in this game. He got absolutely bullied. He got moved around. I didn't see great effort. He was absolutely silent. And again, with that being your first and your second round pick in 2024, the last draft for Ran Carthon, it's pretty easy at this time to be like, man, I don't think the Titans got it right with their first pick. Imagine if they would have taken Roma Dunze, man. Like, I know the offensive line is bad, but the offensive line is bad with that pick being spent. The Titans could have had Jackson Smith and Jigba and Roma Dunze instead of Peter Skoronski and J.C. Latham right now. I know the offensive line would still be bad, but it's bad already. So if you're somebody who's saying things like that, again, I think it's too early to call the fight, but you're still alive. That's for certain there. Amani Hooker, Cody Barton, absolutely miserable. I thought Darrell Baker Jr. actually played an okay game, but overall, like the outside cornerbacks, Sam Womack, Jalen Armour Davis, Darrell Baker, what are we doing there? Dan Moore got hurt in this game, and Ali Udoh came in. I didn't notice a major difference. Did anybody notice a difference between Ali Udoh and Dan Moore? Ali Udoh got 1 penalty on a play that should have been a completion to Xavier Restrepo, but, you know, the offensive tackles just have not gotten it done. They just have not gotten it done. It hasn't been as bad as Nicholas Petit-Ferrer or Andre Dillard or Dennis Daly, but they have just not gotten it done. They haven't. So when you have Sweat, Barton, Hooker up the middle of the spine of your defense, all playing bad football, you have no edge rushers whatsoever. You have 2 terrible outside cornerbacks. You have 2 bad offensive tackles. You have no wide receiver help, and you have the worst coaches in the NFL. You're going to be 1-10. You know what I mean? But again, I want to finish this episode on a positive note. This has been a mostly positive episode, and while I got to, be honest and keep it a buck and talk about the players who were terrible and the issues that the Titans have going forward, I am incredibly... Oh, yeah, Tony Pollard. The Titans have 2 bad, Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears can make some explosive plays here and there, but he needs to be like you get Tajay Spears the ball 5 to 7 times a game on quick running back screens, or 2 drives, he gets the carries at running back. The Titans need a real running back. They need a real running back. And that's why I know we can have talks about positional value, but if the Tennessee Titans trade back and get 2 first-round picks, if they trade back with the Jets, the Browns, I know somebody else in there, the Rams, for example, if they trade back and get 2 first-round picks and they use their second first-round pick on Jeremiah Love, I don't care that they took a running back in the first round. This team needs good players. This team needs good football players. And if you're already getting your premium position guy, an edge rusher, a wide receiver, with your first round pick, then yeah, your second round pick is a luxury. Take a running back. Take Kenyon Sadiq. I'm kidding about that. I'm not taking tight end there, but I would love Jeremiah Love. I don't think that they can, if they can't take Jeremiah Love with a top 5 pick or something like that, but, think about how bad the run game is and how it hurts this football team. They can literally do nothing in the run game. Tony Pollard is shot. He is out of gas, and Tajay Spears ain't that guy. He ain't a number 1 running back. He's not. So the Titans desperately need a true number 1 running back, and if they find a way to get Jeremiah Love using a second first-round pick, God forbid he falls to the second like he always does in Madden for some reason when you're doing a dynasty. Unrealistic. He ain't falling that far in this draft class. But again, I'm already greasing the skids for if they get 2 first-round picks and they use the second one on Jeremiah Love, I'm with it. I am with it. Boy, they need help at running back. But again, the way Cam Ward played today, absolutely incredible. Chim Dike is a weapon for years to come. Gunnar Helm is exactly who you thought he was. Xavier Restrepo can absolutely be that wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 that's on the roster for the next 5 years to pair with Cam Ward and use as a rotational player. Kevin Winston is a starting safety. Marcus Harris is going to be a starter in the Titans secondary, or at minimum, a very good backup for the Titans going forward as a slot cornerback. There's a lot to be excited about here. It's a tough loss. It's a tough season. But this is, again, a perfect loss for the Titans as they're very competitive. The young players play well, and they continue to secure the best draft position that they can. But on tomorrow's show, I'm going to dive deeper into Cam Ward's performance because I thought this was a breakout game for Cam Ward. We're going to talk more about Xavier Restrepo and what to do going forward. And we're getting to a point where we really need to examine the rest of the NFL, where the draft is at, start taking a look at some of these prospects. I can already see the conversations online in the comment sections of the shows all over the place. Your guys' brains are moving forward. It's time to build this roster up because there are some things to build around. And by God, don't let the Tennessee Titans get a good head coach or we are coming for the league. But with that being said, that's going to do it for me today. Folks, make sure you throw a thumbs up on the video, throw a tighten up down in the chat, get subscribed, stay subscribed. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.